Today we're going to talk about why blue belts quit jiu-jitsu. This is an important topic because, I've been through blue belt, I've taught many blue belts, I've seen many blue belts come and go. This is also important because, once you reach that level, you've been training for 6 months to a year at white belt and then you make it to blue belt, I do consider that a big achievement. And it is hard seeing people, I don't want to say give up, but it is hard seeing people give up at that level. When you've seen them put in all the hard work, they've been competing, they've been learning the techniques, and they're just finally starting to become decent. They're not good yet, but they start becoming decent. So it is rough as an instructor knowing that most people won't reach that blue belt level, but then to have people get to blue belt level and then kind of fall off. We've had a few friends on the channel, some camera guys out there that have got their blue belt and then kind of fell off. So it is hard to see, it's hard to watch, but I understand, blue belt is a rough belt. For me, it was just like realizing that I wasn't technical. When I got my blue belt, I realized, I was pretty athletic and fast and strong and whatever, but I wasn't super technical. Well, nobody really was back in those days. It took me to get my blue belt to really understand how much farther I had to go, how much more I had to learn. At blue belt, I had to completely rehaul my game. So we're just gonna go over a few reasons why people quit at blue belt. So the number one is plateau. Many blue belts feel that they have reached a plateau in their training and progress. They may feel that they are not improving as quickly as they used to, and this can lead to frustration and loss of motivation. So you got to realize when you're a white belt, your learning ability, your learning capacity is supercharged. Comparatively, as a white belt, you don't know anything, so every time you learn something new, you're gonna make gains. You're gonna make strides in your jiu-jitsu game. That won't last the whole time you're training. Once you become more skilled, it takes more time and more energy in order to progress. And then that really hits people at blue belt because when they're white belts, they were just picking up things so quickly. And if you guys watch my other video, we talked about how instructors are so nice to the white belts and giving positive reinforcement, positive feedback. Every time they do something right, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. But once these guys get to blue belt, we're like, oh, you should do that you should know how to do that. Why don't you do this? Instructors, we are a little bit harsher on the blue belts. That progress, it doesn't occur as quickly. It's not as easy. You're gonna have to start studying. When I got my blue belt, that's when I started watching video, watching film, taking private lessons and competing more. You have to invest more to get better. So yeah, you're not gonna improve as quickly. It's gonna slow down a little bit. You're gonna have to work harder, and frustration. So, as a blue belt, you might, especially new blue belts, they think they're gonna be beating everybody up. You just barely made that threshold. So there's gonna be some white belts that give you a hard time. There might be some white belts that tap you out, and then you have the more seasoned blue belts that are gonna see you as an easy target, and then higher belts, we're not gonna go easy on you. We went easy on you at white belt. Once you get your blue belt, we're like, take the kid gloves off. Jiu-jitsu is a physically demanding sport and injuries are common. For some blue belts, injuries can be a significant setback and they may choose to quit rather than risk further injury. I think at blue belt, you're trying to be more competitive, so you might do more reckless things. You might put your body in some weird positions. Again, I've seen people at all levels get injured, but especially at blue belt, they tend to, get caught doing something crazy. Blue belt is also the belt where people start passing out because they're fighting the chokes too long, and they're a little bit more stubborn. They don't want to give up. They don't want to quit. So you do see the ego start to come back at blue belt. At white belt, we beat the ego out of you, and then blue belt, you start getting better, so you get more confident. That your ego starts to kind of inflate a little bit sometimes. As far as injuries, try to stay healthy as much as possible. Roll smart. Don't do anything reckless. Don't be attempting those flying submissions. Try to learn the fundamental movement, how to forward roll, how to backwards roll, how to break fall, learn how to keep your body safe. Really try to use technique because that will help limit your injuries. Time constraints. As blue belts progress in their training, they may find that they have less time to commit to jiu-jitsu due to work, family, or other responsibilities. Usually as you're reaching higher belts, you're also progressing through your life, graduations, marriages, divorces, births. You're gonna experience life as you're progressing through your belts. So it can be hard to manage all those things. Try to stay consistent if you can. If you can only train 1, 2, 3 times a week, that's perfect. just do that. If you have to go 7 a.m. that class, go for that. Just do what you can manage, do what you can manage. Burnout. Jiu-jitsu requires a significant amount of dedication and commitment, and some blue belts may simply burn out from the intense training and competition schedule. So burnout, it's very real. Usually when you're burning out, you're doing too much, you can always try to scale back. I think this is important to have a season. So other sports have a season, but in jiu-jitsu, we tend to go year round. But say you wanna do 1 or 2 major tournaments throughout the year, maybe you wanna do worlds in the gi. So in that case, you start to scale your training up leading up to your tournaments. So say you wanna do the world championships in June, maybe you start training hard in January, February, March, April, May, that's your competition season. You gradually start to increase the number of classes you're attending. You maybe start adding 1 or 2 tournaments in per month, and then you start to peak. You start adding more and more and more, and then you peak at Worlds. I think if we had that kind of methodology, it's gonna help you guys from burning out. And so say after Worlds, okay, that's your off season. That's when you can scale back your training. That's when you can add more strength and conditioning. You can start to bulk up or slim down, work on your mobility, spend more time with your family. So I think if we have more of a schedule, a better schedule with our training versus just training all the time, year round, every day, that's gonna get boring. But if you start to change up your training that way, it can add variation to your schedule and just keep it interesting. So I personally don't just train jiu-jitsu. I try to mix up my training, with weightlifting and other exercises and other activities to keep it interesting, keep it fun. Yeah, if you're training hard all the time, you're gonna burn out. So just try to keep it fun. Maybe have a class where you go to just to mess around, or maybe have a session where you just drill whatever you want to work on. So that can help you keep from burning out. And then last one, we got personal reasons. For example, they may move away or lose interest in the sport. What I see sometimes is that people, they get to the point where they're happy. They're happy that they reached blue belt. They're happy with the skill that they've achieved, and they don't want to go any further. So I completely understand that. An old saying was that a blue belt in jiu-jitsu is a black belt in other martial arts. So if you feel that you've reached the skill that you wanted to attain and you want to try other stuff, I completely understand that. Just realize that with anything in this world, in this life, you got to maintain your skill set. So if you get too rusty, you're not going to be as good as you once were. But I'm all for you guys doing what you love to do. If that's jiu-jitsu, keep doing it. If you want to go rock climb or you want to play the guitar, man, use that. Go do that. I want you guys to enjoy your life. That's the most important thing. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the people you're around. If you don't enjoy that stuff, go to where you do enjoy it. These reasons also apply to other belts. Could be the same reasons for purple belts and brown belts and black belts. I think blue belt is just the first major milestone in a lot of people's martial arts career. And so it is hard for me seeing people work so hard at white belt and then to give up at blue belt when there's so much more outside of blue belt. There's so much technique, there's so much movement that you guys can attain and skill that you guys can attain. So yeah, keep trying, man. If you put that much time and effort to get your blue belt, for me, it's a waste to give up and quit. You can always scale back. You can always try to vary your schedule. You can always try to make it more interesting and more exciting for you. Yeah, you can always take a break, but to quit, man, every sports motivational quote and video and book is always like never give up. So I always try to do that. There's been times where I want to give up. Even now, there's times where I want to give up, but got to have a little voice in your head that says, keep going, don't give up, keep trying. You'll never know your potential if you give up. I think you guys got to stick through it and see it to the end and keep training. That's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video of me talking about different topics, let me know in the comments and check out this video right here.